Well, welcome back to the rest of the story and the inside doings of on Washington Avenue with the Becker County Historical Society Museum Roadshow. And we have with us again Gerry, Schram, and we are going to hear, you were talking about Bunnell's when we left last time. You have more in the card games. There was something going on upstairs. Was that the card games?
Well, Carolyn, I don't know.
You were just a kid.
I was too young to be in those card games, and I would have been a donator anyway. But there was a pool hall up there, and a lot of us kids used to go up there, play a little bit of pool early evening. But I believe there was a card room up there, and I know that there were some very heavy-duty games played up there. In fact, there's a local man that lost his home.
Oh, really?
And it wasn't just a home, Carolyn, it was a lake home in a card game.
We have some card sharks in Detroit Lakes, you're saying?
Well, at one time we had some very sharp card players.
Okay.
When you walked in the door, the aroma was cigar smoke.
Right.
And they had must have been a great selection for any cigar smoker. I remember there was lots of cigars in a case. I'm sure there was lots of cigarettes and such as that. There was a little counter there for beer patrons, and there was back further there was a place for a restaurant. Downstairs, I don't really remember being down there, but I must have been there.
Is that a basement?
There was a bowling alley down there.
Oh, really? Well, those days are really gone, aren't they?
Yes, things have changed. But there were some other very interesting buildings along Washington, Carolyn.
Tell us.
There was the Proctor Hotel.
I remember that.
Which was...
was that on the north side?
That was on the south side. That was actually the McCarthy Hotel at one time.
Okay.
And anyway, the Proctor Hotel, it had rooms. It was a hotel room. It had a great supply of pastries. There was a beer drinking place, and there was booths, which, as I remember now, they would be quite small compared to the booths in a restaurant. And
where did you say that stood?
That stood very close to where Lake Shirts is.
Oh.
Lake Shirts, and that's another place, was Brecken's, and that was a men's haberdashery. I remember going in there and getting clothes. Little Ray Brecken, just dressed fit as a fiddle, and he would come in and pay close attention to your clothing needs. His wife Helen worked there, and it was a very complete men's shop, and they did very well. Further north on the street, you had Blandings. Blandings, Henry and Dick Blanding had a department store. There was a woman's shop and a shoe shop, and they had a men's department, and then they had a hardware department. And upstairs was a furniture department, and I don't know what else, but it was really, as you would look at it nowadays, it was really the complete store. And the Blandings and their employees were always right there to see to your needs. And we had some real good hardware stores. There was, of course, Blandings. There was a big coast-to-coast store that was owned by Les Stope.
Yeah.
And that had lots of things in it. And I remember going downstairs with my dad and buying a new bicycle. And there was, like, all kinds of bicycles down there. And I was just like a kid in a candy store seeing all these bicycles. And later, the Bugs bought the store and have since moved to where Penny's used to be. And Penny's moved all the way down south to the lower part of the 900 block. And besides Coast to Coast store, we had on the north side, we had Western Auto that was owned by Lant and Swenson. They had a good hardware store. And of course, going down the block in the 800 block, we had a gamble store. So we had at least 4 very good, complete hardware stores in the day.
Yeah, I remember Linrood so well, I mean, they had a it was a everything store, kind of. And then with the soda fountain, or
Yes.
you can get a cup of coffee there too, you know. And it had a certain aroma in there. What's happened?
You know, some of the downtown we find now has spread out to the outskirts of town. Some of the things that were handled, the hardware stores, and you've talked about aroma. If you walk into an old-fashioned hardware store with wooden floors, they had an aroma. They really smelled like a hardware store is supposed to, not like what they call the big box stores we have nowadays. It's interesting how this street has evolved. It's gone from hardware stores are pretty well gone. Seems like maybe we might have a few more beauty stores and barber shops than we used to have. But a few things that remain the same is Norby's is still in the same place. Schiller's are still there, but they've gone down or moved north a half a block. And of course, Matson's barber shop, that's been there forever, and that seems like it always will be. Lake Sports Shop, although it's gone through several different owners, has moved almost a full block south from where it was, and of course it has expanded. You
know, things are the same and aren't the same.
Correct.
And I certainly hope this has just made you, the people, the audience, start remembering their stories, and it brought back good memories of days past and of Washington Avenue. It's the cornerstone of Becker County almost. Everybody knows where Washington Avenue is. Well, thank you for sharing with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Carolyn.
It's really fun. You know, it made me remember too.